Hello, my name is Sandy Mitchell and I'm the president of Apex Leadership Coaching. Our focus is on inspiring leaders to attain their dreams. You know, 90% of New Year's resolutions never happen. 94% of new companies fail within the first 5 years. I don't want that for you. So I wanted to give you some practical tips on how to be successful this year. Thank you for your investment in your time and investment in yourself by being on this call. So why should you stay on this webinar? You will learn 3 steps to determining your financial goals for next year. You'll walk away with your first step of success for this year completed. So get paper and pen, pencil if you don't already have it in front of you. This is a workshop for you. Take advantage of it. So let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Sandy Mitchell, and I'm the owner and president of Apex Leadership Coaching. But this isn't my first entrepreneurial effort. In 1993, I struck out on my own with Imagination, an advertising and marketing firm. I rocked the sales, the relationships, delivering the work on time, on budget, and beautifully, I might add. However, I was an art major and not a business major. So, first mistake, I wasn't timely on following up on invoices that needed to get paid. Second mistake, I had 2 huge clients who kept me really busy, so I catered to them to the tune of 90% of my business. Third mistake, I didn't look for prospects to keep in my client funnel. So, when my 2 biggest clients went bankrupt within a week of each other, totally different industries, I freaked out. I was making great money, spending most of it, and realized that I wasn't going to have to do something to keep myself from going bankrupt. I started temping to pay off my debts. I thought I'd do it for maybe a year and then start over. I ended up being hired by a global corporation, and I worked there for 17 years. And I was smart this time. I knew I would want to go back out on my own, so I determined the skills that I needed to learn and took jobs that would help me gain that experience. They paid for my MBA. They paid for my paralegal certification so I could learn to read contracts. They paid for my coaching certification. Then, I was out on my own coaching. I had to decide this time how to be smarter. I had to decide if I was serious about growing a business or getting another job. I decided to learn about growing a business. I determined all the areas I'm strong in and wanted to do myself, and the areas I am not, I've hired people or am bartering for those services. This is the year that I surpassed my fabulous salary income. Want to join me in greatly increasing your revenue? This session is about utilizing the 3-step tool to doubling your revenue this year, so you're working on your business this year and not just buried deep in it. So you may be at a point where you're keeping your head above water, or you may be struggling just to stay afloat in your business right now. And you want more. You want more clients, more revenue. You want to be seen more as an expert in your business. More respect, more self-worth, more time off, or at least time to see the kids while they're still awake. You want more whatever, fill in the blank. You can have it with intention and focus. In the 3 steps to financial success, we'll talk about this. What's the income that you want this year? And write it down. Don't just say more. Be specific. What's the actual dollar figure that you want to earn this year? It may not actually be doubling your income. Maybe it's getting your first client, or tripling your income, or writing a book. Whatever it is, be bold. David Lloyd George said, "Don't be afraid to take a big step if one is indicated. You can't cross a chasm in 2 small jumps." So ask yourself, what would it mean if I doubled my income this year? What would my life look like specifically if I were to double my income? Be grounded, be specific. Don't be generic here. Will you have new purchases? Will you have a down payment on something, a house or an office? Invest in yourself with training or some other aspect of the business. Don't say things like, I want more freedom. That's too difficult to measure. You want freedom around what? How would you know if you got freedom? How are you going to specifically say, this is what success looks like? And here's the reason I want you to do this step right off the bat. Often conversations that are not happening around the business is around money. So keep the money conversation up front. Be honest and transparent, and you will be able to control your money and not have it, or the lack of it, control you. Business is simply an exchange of money for services and products that change or transform someone else's life or their business positively. You deserve to be paid correctly and appropriately for that. This is one of the 4 keys to business mastery that we'll be talking about later in the workshop. And it's huge, because money can be a huge asset or a huge liability in our lives, both personally and professionally. The more we tell it what to do, as Dave Ramsey says, on purpose and on paper, the more it will work for us and not against us. In order to achieve our goals, we need to first understand why they're important to us. So let's talk about the 3 levels of motivation. Ask yourself, why is the revenue important? Why is that amount that you wrote down important to you? Get to the core of what's important. Get to the thing that will motivate you to overcome the challenges that will come your way. What is the motivation that becomes the compelling sense of energy that will propel you through those tough times? It is vitally important to talk about not only what you want, but why it's important for you. So let's get to it. Level 1. How is this personally important to me? Why is this revenue amount important to you? Is it the title? Is it that you can travel? Is it security? What will you gain by having this revenue? What are the benefits that you personally will receive by having the revenue? Is it that you're able to invest in stocks? Is it having a house? Is it having support like a maid or the yard help so that you can do other things? Just proving that I can do it. And then repeat it. So be specific. What is it specifically that states this is why this amount, this specific amount, is important to me? Level 2. How am I or how can I make a difference for those that are close to me? Some struggle in this level 1 because our minds automatically go to others. That's really level 2. Level 1 is all about you and how the money will serve you. Level 2 is about how making the revenue will make a difference for those who are close to you. How will your family benefit from the ripples of your success? Your parents, your friends, employees, partners, pets. This is for people who are really close to you, really a part of who you are, as a family member, a friend, or a leader. How will your making this revenue amount that you wrote down affect their lives? Now, level 3. How am I or can I make a greater contribution and build a legacy? How will having this level of revenue that you wrote down be able to affect the people and causes that you may or may not know personally, but will also benefit from the ripples of your success? This could be those causes that are close to your heart. A nonprofit, a church, a charity. Maybe you'll be able to hire more employees or get more clients. Your work may cause other companies downstream to benefit as well. In my job, I'm constantly referring people to my website designer and growing his business. In fact, so much that he's creating a niche around coaches like I am. Who else will benefit when you grow your revenue to the amount that you have listed? This is where you really need to determine your vision. Your why keeps you moving forward. What will you get if you achieve your dream? Equally important is the opposite of this. How will all of the people, the causes, the items, your family, your friends, you, how will all of them be affected or not benefit if you're not successful in achieving that amount? When you don't shift what you're doing? How will you, those close to you, and everyone else lose because you don't double your income? What won't you get if you don't achieve your dream? This is the pain. Your why has to be greater than your fear of not being successful. That part that inspires you has to be greater than the fear of not succeeding. The why helps you overcome the terror barrier. Now that you have your motivation defined, let's really make your dream feasible. First, what's the revenue number you want to generate this year? You probably wrote it down earlier. Put a specific number down on your paper. You can't just say, I want more, because that's not measurable. I want you to right now write down a BHAG. What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? Do you want to double your income? Do you want to triple it? Do you want to increase it by 25%? Be specific, and don't think too low. But also, don't think so big that you know you won't achieve it, so you feel like you're giving yourself a pass, that you don't even have to really try. Steve Maraboli says, if you have a goal, write it down. If you do not write it down, you do not have a goal, you have a wish. Number 2, what are the key areas of service or products that you will have that will make up that revenue number you wrote down? List out the services and products and the revenue that you want to generate in each one of those areas. The total equals the revenue number that you want to generate this year. For me, that's my corporate one-on-one coaching, my entrepreneur one-on-one coaching, my team or group coaching, my speaking engagements, my training sessions, and my writing. I'm writing a book this year. Those categories are broad enough that I don't have to list all my clients or various industries in which I do coaching, but the pricing is different for each one of those broad categories. So I can have a more accurate picture of how I want to bring in more corporate one-on-one coaching versus my entrepreneurial one-on-one coaching, etc. 3. What are the action items that you need to take to achieve each of the revenue numbers listed in the areas of each of the services and products that you wrote down? Calendar those. Calendar the action items. Use the SMART goals. Many of you have heard of the SMART goals before. A lot of companies are using them now, but just in case, I'll give you a quick explanation. S is specific. As I've been saying, be very specific about what you want to accomplish. The more specific you are, the greater chance you have of setting your metrics and knowing the progress that you're making and know when you're being successful. M is for measurable. These are the metrics I just mentioned. How will you know when you're done? What does success look like? A is it achievable or is it attainable? Can you physically and actually do what you say that you want to do? Is it possible to attain this goal? If your goal is to earn $1 million this year and yet last year you earned $15,000, it may not actually be achievable, legally that is. R is realistic. While it may be achievable in ideal circumstances, in your real world, how realistic is it that you'll actually do it? If you wanted to earn $1,000 this week, it may be achievable if you bring in one more client. However, if you're traveling this week and you will not be in the office, or if your reception is iffy at best where you're traveling, how realistic is that you'll be able to get that one client this week? T is time-based. What is your time frame for achieving the goal? Is it 1 week, 1 year? If 1 year, make sure that you have shorter-term goals so that you know that you're making progress. This 3-step process is a very powerful tool to use. It's not just about you, but those around you, those close to you, and those in your broader roles. You must decide if this is really the level of success that you want to go for this year. It's a yes or no decision. Is it really what you want? To decide means to cut off all other possibilities. There is no plan B. I have a commitment to my goal. I will do whatever it takes to get there. When trials come up and people stumble and stop, it's because they never really, truly decided to go for it. This commitment enables you to stay with it even when, and especially when, the going gets tough. This is when most people give up. Ask yourself, am I truly committed to this level of success? Thank you for this time that you've invested in me. If you'd like to continue the conversation, I'm available for personal coaching, 6-month, 12-month, and open programs for you, and I'm available for speaking engagements. Connect with me on all the usual social media sites, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Thank you for your time. To our success.